Rebellions are built on hope.
And welcome to another episode of Radio Rebellion Star Wars podcast. I'm your host, Alberto Calderon, and thank you for joining us on this Star Wars Saturday as we're here again to talk Star Wars. A lot of cool news drop, kind of last minute. And don't worry, I know it's last minute, but Oti will be here soon. He's having some issues with his computer not being charged up. But as I am speaking, he's logging on because he can just give me a little bit of the spotlight. 10 seconds I only had before you had to jump in, and there he goes. He's out. No, Oti, come back. We gotta talk. All right, how's everyone doing?
Hi, Alberto.
There he is. Oti, how you doing?
I'm having a weird day.
I see that.
I'm seeing that my laptop apparently isn't charging, so maybe I'll disappear.
Maybe it won't be the first time.
I don't know what's happening.
Hopefully it will last the whole show. Yeah, we didn't get a chance to talk before we started, so I don't know. You doing okay? Nothing?
I'm doing good. It's a very hot day down here. It's very hot. I played a round of golf and almost died. But yeah.
Yeah. I mowed my lawn, so I know what that is. And my allergies are killing me. So if I start crying, it's not because your takes are just so bad that I can't take them. It's just my allergies are acting up today.
Okay.
All right. Before we start, just real quick, a couple of housekeeping things. No episode next week. Next Saturday is my son's birthday, so obviously I won't be here because I will get kicked out of my house. Rightfully so. So no episode next week, but we'll be back the following week on June 17th. And we'll see. Maybe there's some cool Star Wars news that drop between then. But before, maybe he's gone already. And then he is out. We'll see if he comes back. So while that happens, Oti tries to figure out what's wrong with his computer. If you're watching this live, thank you for joining us. If it's your first time watching us, double thanks. And make sure you subscribe to our show so you don't miss any new episodes when they drop on Saturday. And give us a thumbs up if you don't mind. And comment down below if you're watching this later on the replay. All the topics we'll be covering today. And if you're listening to this on the audio podcast when it drops later this week, thank you. Give us a a rating, review, whatever you're listening. Apple Podcast, Spotify, Good Pods, whatever you use. Anchor, which is now Spotify. So I'm just repeating myself. All right. So I'm just going to remove him and see if he comes back. If Oti's computer lets him come back, or maybe he just uses his phone. But let's see who's out there in the chat. This is our Prima. How you doing, Mo? Thanks for joining us today. Can't wait to hear your thoughts on all of our cool things we're going to be talking about today. I need Oti to come back. I have something I need to tell him, but we'll see when he comes. All right, with that, let's go ahead and start. So if you guys are ready, I'm ready. Let's talk Star Wars, and we're starting with a little bit of Star Wars news.
Star Wars news.
Star Wars news, and it's been quiet for the most part for Star Wars news. Everyone's just waiting for Ahsoka to drop. We do have a couple of things to talk about Ahsoka, especially some little tidbits that have been dropping yesterday, today in anticipation for an Empire magazine that's dropping next week, I think on Thursday or Friday of next week. So we'll get more at that time, but we'll see later this week when it comes. But before we do that, let's say our friend is here, Roberto. Thanks for joining us, Roberto. And who else is in the chat? He can't make it to the live show. He's in the chat. He'll be back in a few minutes. He's our co-host, Oti. We'll wait for him to come back. All right, but our first news item as we're working on some of our issues behind the scene is that Taika Waititi, in an interview with the Hollywood Reporter, said that he's still working on his Star Wars story, on the script. He's having a little bit of trouble with the second act. And kind of saying that it's difficult, that you can't just introduce like a smuggler with an alien sidekick, because of course that's Han Solo and Chewbacca, and you can't beat Han Solo and Chewbacca. So I don't know. You guys think this movie's ever coming out? I put more stock, I think, on the Ryan Johnson trilogy to come out before the Taika Waititi movie comes out. But they're still talking about it. There's Oti. Are you gonna be able to hold on?
Yeah, I realized that the charger was like half connected, so that's why it wasn't charging.
It's not charging because you didn't plug it in.
Yeah,
that happens. But I'll let it pass because you just said it was a weird date for you, so we'll let it pass.
I'm just tired, man.
That's fine.
I'm gonna make a quick story. Last night I went to hang out with a couple of office friends and got pretty hammered. And then like at 12, I was like, I'm gonna play golf at 7. So I was like, bye. My alarm sounds like at 6, and I'm like, oh my god, I have terrible hangover. So it's been like a weird day.
Yeah. Hopefully you hit that thumbs up button while you were in the chat. Probably
I'll do
not.
it right now. My water now. Oh, it's here.
Oh, come on. Do we need to stop and come back in 15 minutes? Let you kind of cool down? All right, I'm going to take all this out. Before we go into keep talking about Taika Waititi. Did you know, Oti? And it's my fault because it happened 2 weeks ago. But it's basically the 1-year anniversary for you being our co-host here in Radio Rebellion. Our first episode was on May 14th of last year. So 2 weeks ago, I think. So I forgot. Thank you for surviving 1 year here. I think more for me surviving you, but
it feels like longer, but
I think it was shorter. I didn't knew it was a year already, but I guess
time passes.
Yes, that's why you can't binge all night and then wake up to play golf at 6 in the morning.
I'm not 18 anymore.
No, someone that's not 18.
Look who's here!
Oh no, I'm afraid.
Right,
Buck, he made it on time. Let's give it a round of applause for Buck. He knew we were gonna be talking about Ahsoka. He had to show up. But before we get to Ahsoka and all that stuff, Taika Waititi said he's still working on the script, having some issues with the second act. Can't really introduce a smuggler with an alien sidekick because you can't beat Chewbacca and Han Solo, basically. I'm kind of 50, not even 50-50, like 30-70 if this movie will ever come out. I'm surprised that he's still working on it. A couple of things, but my first question is this movie even coming out? Why is he still working on this?
I mean, we don't know if it's coming out or not. If he's still working on it, he's getting paid to work on it. So, so I guess that's the intention. And every time Kathleen Kennedy has been asked, she's like, we're working on that. So I don't know. Maybe it's not in the immediate pipeline, but maybe like in
10 years,
maybe like in 5 years. No, not 10. Like,
I'm just thinking about if we have 3 movies that are in different stages of production, and we expect everyone to come out like every 3 years, most likely. I don't know. I think people are expecting that to happen, and I'm honestly like thinking about this now, but I'm thinking they're gonna start pumping out a movie a year because Lucasfilm is a movie studio, and they make movies, and they apparently don't want to make anything that's not Star Wars because they're like, no, I don't think we're gonna do more indie. I don't think we're gonna take that many risks. So I'm expecting them to start pumping out a movie a year, which I'm fine with, by the way. Oh yeah, of course. I wouldn't be surprised if for these next 3, since they're already in some sort of production, writing or pre-production or whatever. I know with the writer's strike that kind of holds everything back, but it wouldn't surprise me that these 3 do come back to back, and maybe after that they'll take 2-3 years. So maybe this Taika, let's say, it's the 4th movie, like you said, maybe 5 or 6 years in the future, not 10.
Because, for example, if it was like 3 years between each of the 3 announced movies, like let's say Mango's movie's the last one, like in 12 years he's gonna make the Star Wars movie.
Nobody cares by then.
Maybe Disney doesn't exist in 12 years. I don't know.
At this point, at the rate we're going. All right, but a second, just to have fun with it, because he said, you can't just bring another smuggler with an alien psychic. Come on, how many alien psychics do we have? It's like saying, I can have a droid because R2D2 and C-3PO, you can't top them. Every movie, we're just looking for the next droid, and every movie they hit, and TV show with B2, come on, that little tractor, and we love him. So I don't know what. Just give me another smuggler with an alien sidekick.
Yeah,
I don't mind it.
I kind of see where he's coming from, because every time I want to do like a treatment, I'm like, oh, and now we meet the smuggler and the alien. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, no. So I kind of get it, but Taika's a weird guy. I find it so surprising that he's like, yeah, I'm having trouble with the second eye. Like, that's so specific. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Supposedly, he said it's a great idea. I'm guessing he knows the general bits of the story, but now getting to the actual script, that's where it gets difficult. And again, take your time. You don't need to
Yeah.
rush anything.
If he needs 10 years to make it, go ahead, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, but I
All
really
right.
hope he does get to make the movie. I really love Taika
Yeah,
as a creator. I like his vision and how he does things. So I just want to see what he does.
and I hope that when he does it, if he does it, it's a Taika Waititi movie. I know that people had issues with the last Thor, but in general, he's a great director, great writer, even actor and comedian. Give me a weird Star Wars movie, as we always say. We love weird Star Wars and stupid Star Wars. He's the perfect type for that.
If he wants to do like a shake weight joke like with Ragnarok, go ahead, man. Just do it.
I don't care. We all laugh there. And it depends on what if it's not a Jedi High Council movie and Yoda's doing shake weight jokes, okay, that doesn't work. And maybe it does. But
So
just something totally different. Just Asgard row with a shake weight trying to control the leveler. This is how you. I got the rod of power here.
Martian, where's the rod of daybreak or something?
Yeah. Oof. All right. And I think we reach our PG-13 rating for today.
It's fine. I'm gonna start cursing again.
I'm sure. Yeah, when we get to our main topic, I'm sure you're going to. Where are you on Path of Vengeance? How are you doing?
It's been a hard week. Like,
a whole week.
Leave me alone. I'm reading. But
all right, that's fine. That's fine.
You got to put a deadline on me. So
I think what we're gonna do after you finish, we'll just do a phase 2 recap for the whole phase.
I want to talk about Marta.
Dude, by the time we get there, I'm gonna have forgotten everything.
You do Wikipedia. That's fine.
Wikipedia. I wrote my own review, which you can find.
Then read it. You.
I'll do it. All right, let's go to a second.
You know whatever. Let's do it. No, I'm gonna check my calendar.
All right, let's put a.
Okay, so we're off on the 10th, and we're off on the 17th.
No, we're back on the 17th.
No, on the 17th is my sister's wedding. We're not recording that day.
All right, so you're kicking me out of my own show again.
No, if you want to do it, you can do it.
That's fine. Unless a big Star Wars news item drops, we can take 2 weeks off.
Okay. On the 24th, we're gonna do Path of Vengeance.
Everybody in the chat, Buck, Roberto, and Mo, you heard it here, and I'll make sure to tweet it out 20 times.
Okay, perfect.
24th, when we come back, Path of Vengeance review with Oti leading that episode.
Okay.
All right. So, a second news item, kind of a 2-for-1, but we'll start. It has to do with Ahsoka. And first is Lars Mikkelsen was speaking with Entertainment Weekly. And he said that he didn't revisit Thrawn from Rebels, wanting to detach himself from that representation of the character to create something new when we see him back in Ahsoka. Oti, I know a lot of people had issues when I just blanked on the name of the actor, Rupert Wyatt, because I believe he said he didn't look at the Grand Inquisitor in Rebels. He wanted to just make it his own, and people kind of went crazy. I understand it's different because Lars played Thrawn in Rebels, and now he's getting to play him again in live action. Any concerns that he's kind of stepping away from that representation of the character, that we might get a total different Thrawn? That doesn't make sense, because I think it's been like 9 or 10 years since we last saw Thrawn to now. It's a completely different character, so no worries.
Yeah, I think it really makes sense for him to have changed, because, as you said, it's been 10 years, and we know characters in Star Wars tend to change from last time we saw them to this time. So, but I also hope these changes are for the better. I've commented on my issues with Rebels Thrawn versus Book Thrawn. I feel like they're a little bit, I don't want to say incoherent, but I don't think they mesh too well together, because I think Filoni wants to paint him as the standard bad guy, and then Timothy Zahn comes in like, oh, it was all part of a grand plan. And I was like, okay, come on.
Yeah,
so
get together.
If they really are talking to Zahn as they're saying they are, I really hope it's for the betterment of that character. And it's a TV show, it's a live action show. I'm thinking Thrawn will be very prominent in it, and I'm thinking then he'll have more time, to use those acting chops to enhance the character and maybe fill in those blanks.
I think he even said on that interview that there's some things you can do in animation that you can't do in live action and vice versa. So he's coming at it from different ways. And of course, he's a tremendous actor. I still don't know where I fall in. Do I want this version to feel more like Rebels Thrawn compared to Book Thrawn? I don't know where I want it, because I do like Rebels Thrawn a lot. And yes, it's very different from Book Thrawn. And like you said, I've been talking with Timothy Zahn, so it kind of makes sense. They might pick and choose a little bit of his nuances from the book. So we'll see how it all feels when it drops.
It's funny because you and I, we don't like the Thrawn books that much, but I really like Book Thrawn. I just think he's annoying to spend 300 pages with. So it's not like I prefer a version over the other. I just think it's dissonant. And if they manage to reconcile it here, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, totally agreed. And I'm pretty sure we're going to get more Thrawn books. And I know I don't want them, but I'm pretty sure we'll get them.
You don't have to read them.
I know.
Like, for example, I'm probably not going to read Red Blade. Like, and it's not because I think it's bad. Like, I just don't want to only read Star Wars. So
it's like when we spoke with Lydia Kang. I think it was afterwards that there's so much stuff out there, and it's like, yeah, not just Star Wars, but there's a lot of stuff. But anyway, thanks to everyone at Del Rey, Star Wars, and Random Worlds Books for giving us an advanced copy of Inquisitor: Rise of the Red Blade. First time on the list. Hopefully we can keep it. So I won't say anything. The embargo lifts on July 5th, so 2 weeks before it drops. I'm about a third of the way in, so things are starting to happen. I'm enjoying it, and I'll leave it there because I don't want to get in trouble.
Cool.
All right, so our second part of this Ahsoka TV show news, I should say, is that some new Ahsoka images dropped yesterday and today. Ooh. Empire Magazine has an Ahsoka coverage that's coming out next week, as I was saying before we started. 2 new images drop, and also a little snip from Filoni saying that Ahsoka, she's a wanderer at this point and is in a lot of ways wary of any organization as such because of the power that comes with it as a group. She walks a path that basically died out a long time ago, and there aren't many like her left, if any. Oti, we'll start, of course, with the great images, but Ahsoka basically, we confirm now she's a way seeker. Finally, great Jedi, throw it in the bin. She's a way seeker. Right, that's why he said she's wandering, has a wandering ways right now.
What if I tell you I'm probably the one person on Twitter that did not take it that way? Because I'm not 100% sure Filoni knows what a way seeker is.
Yes. It took me 2 days to tweet it out. I saw it yesterday, and I'm going to tweet on it. I'm not going to, and then I did it today because I just want to get it out there.
I saw it when you tweeted it out yesterday, and I was pretty drunk, so I chose not to engage.
Thank you. Jesus Christ. Let's talk about the images then. For starters,
they are so sleek, and they tell me nothing, but they tell me everything at the same time.
So I wasn't even going to cover this because, the images, there's Ahsoka standing, and then the second one dropped today, which is Ahsoka, and of course, Natalie Bordoso, I believe is her name. Sorry if I messed up. As Sabine. And they look great, especially I just seen them on my phone when I put in the computer for the little video there, those snapshot. I'm like, this looks pretty good. It's pretty clear, crisp, very sharp, like you said. And they look great. And Sabine looks great.
Yes. By the way, Bug is saying he's seeing it the same way. He's not seeing it as wasting. But hey, I think it's a conversation we can have. Yeah. But they even that one where she's just standing on a ship, I was like, oh, this picture is so cool. It's literally just standing there. Her face gave me a thought, and thinking back on her episodes, Rosario Dawson takes this character so serious,
Yeah.
and I love it. But when I think about it, it's kind of silly. like look at her face. She's like so hyper focused and so like taking everything in, and I freaking love it. She's like on a whole new dimension of something.
Yeah, I mean, she's always said when she's spoken about the character how much love she had, that this was basically a fan casting that came through, and she doesn't want to disappoint anyone. So of course she's gonna be taking it very seriously. But yeah, she's that very stoic
Yeah.
Jedi at that point.
Yeah. But
Roberto, thanks for joining today. We'll see you in 2 weeks when we talk Path of Vengeance. In 3 weeks, actually. So yeah, great images. There's a poster, not a poster, but that cover art for that Empire magazine that drop looks kind of weird because he has thrown shadow in the back, making her look a very stream neckline.
But it also makes like Thrawn's silhouette look super weird because it's like a huge head with a very slim neck. Like,
yeah, someone did.
It looks like Snoke.
Someone extrapolated the shadow and just make it like little chibi Thrawn. It's very funny. But the first time I saw it, like, what's wrong with her neck? Oh, of course, there's the shadow behind it. The Leiku don't help. All right, so we both love the images. Love that they're starting to. The marketing for Ahsoka is starting. This is 2 months away. We know it's in August. We don't know when. The NBA finals are currently going on.
That's what I was going to ask you.
On ABC, which, come on, is an affiliate of Disney. Are we getting the next trailer before the finals end? And I'm not sure. Of course, it depends how many games it goes, but there's a game tomorrow. Sunday is a day that sometimes Star Wars and Lucasfilm drop trailers, Super Bowl, another time. So any chance we get a trailer tomorrow, at least during the finals?
Tomorrow is the first game of the final?
Second game.
Oh, already? Who won the first one?
Denver.
Denver's playing?
Why do you even ask? You don't know
oh no, Miami Celtics was the semifinal or the
the finals for the Eastern Conference. Boston Celtics, Miami Heat.
So it's Miami Heat versus the Nuggets.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. I don't really care. So it would be like on tomorrow or during the week?
Tomorrow's the next one. Then they'll take either 2 or 3 days off. So Tuesday or Wednesday will be the next one, and then probably Friday.
Monday, are they playing next Monday again? Next Sunday?
No, they'll play tomorrow, and then probably have 2 days off. This is basketball. This is Star Wars show. You want me to look at the schedule? You keep talking. Do you think we're gonna?
No. What I'm getting at is that we usually know the trailer's coming the day before, and no one has mentioned anything. So I don't know. But what's also coming out? The Champions League final. More people around the world watch that over the NBA final. So, but no, that's streamed by Paramount. Ignore me.
Yeah, yes, I was going to anyways, but all right. NBA finals tomorrow, then Wednesday, followed by Friday, then Monday, if it goes to a game 5, game 6 on Thursday, June 15th, with game 7 on June 18th.
Buck is saying, by the way, that he likes his nuggets with spice, and I don't like spicy nuggets, really. I like spicy food, but I don't like spicy nuggets.
I don't like. Do I? Yeah, I feel in spicy nuggets. I don't. It's fine.
Wendy's
with the regular chicken nuggets. This isn't a Baby Yoda.
Let's talk fast foods.
Wendy's. Do you think we'll get fast foods in Ahsoka?
Buffalo Wild Wings for sure.
Oh, there you go. Come on.
Did you see the picture of Sabine going into a Buffalo Wild Wings?
Is that from today? Because I want to say yes.
Yeah.
So I saw big Buffalo Wild Wings. I think yes, I've been walking into it. Man, people, I hate Twitter, but you gotta love the people on Twitter sometimes, or whoever's doing it. So I'm gonna say I don't know, because Star Wars waits till the last minute, that at least 1 month out to drop the next trailer. So I'm not 100% sure, but it wouldn't surprise me.
I think tomorrow is too soon, but we'll see.
Yeah, me too. All right. So the Way Seekers. You don't think it's Way Seeker? Maybe it's just talking about Jedi in general.
I mean, it might maybe first episodes, and she's like, "Yeah, I found out about these way seekers," and I'll be like, "Oh, I'm stand corrected." No, I think she's really talking about the Jedi, and people are like, "That wasn't that long ago." Well, look at New Hope and
Yeah,
see Obi-Wan talking about the Jedi as this super massive ancient thing, and it's like
yeah.
19 years ago. So,
Dude, I
I
don't
think
know.
she's talking about the Jedi per se.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw about 2 hours ago. I don't know what it was. That conversation was. Or Paulo Hidalgo tweeted something. Our conversation from George Lucas from I don't know when, talking about yeah, well, all the Jedi are gone. From 100,000 that they used to be for the 66, now there's like 100 or 200 left. So Luke has to go and try to find all this. And wait, there's 100 Jedi left, and I've been complaining because there's like 3 out
But
there.
we've talked about
I
this.
know,
Like,
I know.
it
You've
makes
mentioned.
sense because if there were 100,000 and there's 200 Jedi left, that's a total decimation. But we thought it was just the one, so it's
Yeah,
like, oh, what's happening?
yeah. Because Yoda, he knows every single Jedi by name
And
and where they were.
also, it's a massive galaxy with thousands of planets. Like, they can be anywhere.
Yeah, they're just coming back. What the hell happened? Where's my room all burned up? All right. So that kind of ends our Star Wars news talk. And most of our, or the rest of our conversation actually comes from our favorite part of the show is when it's where we listen to you guys in Rebel Thoughts, which I don't. Here we go.
Well done. You're a rebel now.
All right, Audie. So earlier this week, I didn't have anything to talk about. I didn't have any topics or anything. I just put it out there on Twitter. Hey, if anyone wants us to talk about something, you got questions, just send them in. I will figure something out. And we got a good one, which I know you. Every time we mention the War Between Worlds, you get cranky. And today might be another one. So our friend Ro Gasga from the Scary podcast wrote to us and said, some claim that the War Between Worlds irrevocably ruined Star Wars. What are your thoughts on that concept in general? And if it turns out to be straight time travel, do you think that's a good idea? So there's a few things that we can talk about here. Let's not just go with our general and say that's not it. And like you said, where is it? Here we go. That's not how the War Between Worlds works. But let's talk about it a little bit. And that's Oti just sending me stuff. Put this in the show. So let's talk first about
the first meme I ever made as a Star Wars Twitter person.
You just saved it forever. So War Between Worlds, let's start the first time we saw it in Rebels. Were you on board with it as soon as you saw it, or did it take time? And just what are your general thoughts on it?
I honestly don't really remember that much. It's been a while, but every time Star Wars gets close to this kinds of things, I do get kind of nervous, and the World Between Worlds is something that makes me a little bit nervous because it opens a very weird door. And Star Wars, yes, it's fantasy, yes, it's space wizard, but Star Wars is like this very linear thing. And I love to talk about what ifs. I love to talk about alternate realities. That's cool, but I don't really see a place for that in Star Wars. And Star Wars as we currently know it, if all of a sudden Lucasfilm went like, we're going to go super weird and we're going to do time travel and different dimensions, I'll probably check out of Star Wars because that's like a bit too far for me. But if that's what they want to do, then cool, do it. But I do think it lends itself for thematic conversations and some interesting lessons because, and I know we're gonna get into it, but that whole thing, for example, was Ezra wanting to take Kanan out of it and not being able to. I think that's a powerful lesson. Like, there's just some things you can never ever change, and that's part of life. You just have to keep moving and going forward. So I'll start there.
Yeah. I'll highlight, if you can, that comment from Mo real quick, because I think she's correct in saying that the War Between Worlds, such a cool concept, just has to be used correctly, not time travel. We'll get to time travel in a second. But I know when I saw that episode the first time, when it ended, I was like, this was cool, but I don't know how it works in Star Wars. I don't know where I feel. But the more that I sat with it and thought about it on my own, not with all the different voices, I started enjoying it more and started coming up with my own headcanons of how does it work. And the more you start talking to people, then it's no, it's not time travel. It's everything happening at once, basically. And if you, like Ahsoka said, if you pull Kanan out, you all die. So, and this already happened. Everything's happening at the same time, so we can't change anything. So in that sense, I did enjoy thinking about it that way. So I'll get to a little bit more in a minute, but with the first question from Rose saying that it irrevocably ruined Star Wars on some people out there. Do you remember? I kind of remember a little bit. A lot of people being, "Oh, this is time travel," or "This doesn't work for Star Wars." They just jumped the shark, basically. Did you remember anything like that, or people just trying to figure out what it was?
No, not really. I don't really remember people being like, "Oh, this ruined everything." I remember people more than anything like having debates, like how can we make sense of this? By the way, Buck says World Between Worlds is like the cave on Dagobah. It's the Force teaching new lessons. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. I usually have this conversation, and what I go to is like, because people go like, what would have happened if Ezra hadn't picked up Ahsoka? And it's like, the way I see it, there's not a reality where that happened. Like, Ezra always saves Ahsoka, and that's why it's like this. It's weird because he could make that choice, but Star Wars isn't about predetermined destiny. You get to make choices, but I think there's not like an alternate reality where Ahsoka is never saved. I think that if, for example, Palpatine got his hands on this, it could open, like, it could get very messy. But yeah.
If in Twilight of the Apprentice that whole pyramid falls on Ahsoka and Vader sees her die and we see her hand just sticking out, then I understand that alternate realities. But like you said, when that episode ended, we all saw her walking down the steps. She survived. How the hell did she survive? Because Ezra pulled her out at the exact time that he needed to, and then she knew she had to go back and couldn't mess up anything else. So in that point, I agree 100% with everyone that says this is not time travel. It's obvious it's not time travel. I'm afraid if they keep bringing it into the forefront. A lot of people think it's going to be very prominent in Ahsoka because all the logos, all the pictures, there's all these things that look like the World Between Worlds. But we said the same thing about Tython and the little Jedi
stone,
that scene stone that Grogu was on. There's a lot of those same things, and it wasn't World Between Worlds or anything, another path to another dimension. So I hope it doesn't come to it. I'm not too surprised if it happens. And again, for all that I hate on Filoni for some things, he created it, and I think he has a good idea of how it works without messing, let's say, the canon. And let's go and redo the sequel trilogy.
Filoni's a person that, again, we've criticized. I do love Filoni, but he's like the one person I trust the most with this. So if, for example, Taika was like, we're gonna go into the World Between Worlds, I'd be like, oh God, no. So yeah, but I think we're going there. I really think. I don't know if that scene from the trailer that I initially thought was that. I don't know if that's what it is. I'm kind of maybe leaning on them trying to, maybe Darksiders trying to access it or recreate it or something, and Ahsoka being like, hell no, or maybe Thrawn knows about it. Maybe Thrawn torches Ezra. Ezra tells him about it. He's like, I can stop the Empire from dying. Wait a second.
Yeah. Someone tweeted out yesterday, I think. I don't know who it was, not someone that I follow, just someone retweeted him. And there are two images from Andor when they're in what's his face artifact shop, and there's those two tablets from the World Between Worlds in the background. Someone said this is there for a reason. Thrawn is going to have his hands on them, and this is going to play into the World Between Worlds. With Thrawn, I wouldn't put it past him. If he knew there was a way to access another dimension or whatever, another plane, maybe not just for the Empire, but for the Chief's ascendancy, I wouldn't put him past him. So What's Mo saying?
Okay, Mo saying Filoni created it, so I trust him to implement it in Ahsoka. I kind of hope it is, because it will be too cool to see in live action. I agree, and I think if Filoni does it in live action, he gets to set the rules of how
Oh,
that
yeah.
works. So maybe that would be a little bit advantageous.
Yeah, but also Filoni also is one that does something. I don't want not half-ass, but kind of does something halfway and just leaves it. He knows the answer, but won't tell anyone. Say, well, there's interesting, and just leaves it there.
Dave likes to throw conceptual ideas and
Yeah.
leave them in concept and have us just think about it, and that's his style. Like
Mm-hmm.
you don't. I actually kind of like it. I kind of like not having all the answers. I know a ton of people hate it, but yeah.
Yeah,
Do you want
that's
to talk
why.
about? Okay,
What?
no.
No,
Do you
no.
want to talk about maybe future uses of the world between worlds?
Sure, let's go.
There's a common idea thrown around from friends of ours, people I truly like and like their takes and like how they think, but every time I see it I get like, no, let's not do
This Ben
this.
Solo. It's not Ben Solo. Talking about Ben Solo coming back from the war between. I don't think so. He died. We saw him die.
I think I could maybe be convinced if done well that he's always saved, but it would be too weird.
I've said that it wouldn't surprise me. I'm kind of hoping for Ben Solo to come back in the Rey New Jedi Order movie.
I'm
But-
100% expecting him to show up.
But again, I don't know how they'll do it.
Force
I don't
Ghost.
want the worlds because again, this is not Ezra saving Ahsoka. We saw him disintegrate, become one with the Force. They didn't show him back. No, get back in your torn clothes and with your go out there and find your love. No, he died. That's to be something else.
Sticking in that on that parenthesis, I do expect him to show up.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how much money they have to give Adam Driver to come back, but I think it would make more sense for Rey to interact with him rather than Luke, for example.
Oh yeah. I mean, they are a dyad, and they can keep playing with that and figure some new force rules with the dyad. So if they can pass lightsabers from one end, from one body to the other, they can find a way to bring him back.
We can get a date out of it, maybe.
Of course, Mo. Oh, you saw it. They saved Gene
No,
Cassidy.
Mo. Their sacrifice hurts, but it meant something.
Andor season 2, that's gonna be. It's right into A New Hope, and I mean Rogue One, and then a little epilogue at the end. Well, actually, those War Between World tablets were used to bring back Gene and Cassian.
Buck, what could Ben teach Rey? And I think that's a very interesting question. I've always had this vision or this idea of Ben showing up maybe in Rey's like worst moment ever, like this moment where she's maybe about to give up and maybe be like, this was all for nothing, like, and then him showing up being like, no, like, look at my path, I got to come back, I against all odds, I made a ship work that wasn't supposed to work and flew to Exegol. So I kind of see him being like that helping hand in that situation.
Yeah, I don't know if we see her kind of almost fall into the dark side, because of course we all saw that with the sequel trilogy, but he has that experience, unfortunately, of playing with the dark side and coming out of it. So like you say, if she's in a downtrodden kind of mood or something, but
or maybe he teaches her Sith powers and we do get great Jedi.
no, she just turns, that's it. She says, screw the Jedi Order, I'm starting the new Sith Order, and just goes full on dark side.
Yeah. Okay, so Buck, Mo's fighting me. Their sacrifice will always mean something, whether they're alive or not, to me.
Oh, man.
Okay, Mo, okay.
Oh man, I'm about to start.
Stop crying, man. It's not that emotional.
I know. All this Ben Solo talk just got me emotional. I need to call Arsu and see what's happening to me. All right. So I think, all right, I'll fall a little bit on your side, saying that it will show up somehow in Ahsoka. Even I don't want it, but like we've been saying, if someone's going to do it, let it be the man who created it, Filoni. And again, everything I've seen from that trailer made me love this show so much. So I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt right now.
That trailer was really so freaking cool. Like I've seen it a couple of times. It's just like it was exactly what it needed to be to have me like, oh my god.
Dude, it was so much more than what I thought. It's gonna be Rebels season 5. No, it's totally different. And
It's
maybe the
gonna be
show
the
is Rebels, but
it's
it
gonna
just
be
was
Rebels season 5, but it's also gonna be the coolest thing you've ever seen.
yeah, like you said, that looked like a movie trailer. It plays like a movie trailer, so it's gonna be great.
In my head, that's the Pellaeon movie.
I still think it is. The second trailer is gonna be interesting, and maybe we'll get a little bit more with Ezra and more of the Rebels crew. Do you think we get Kanan? Kanan, let's say, not War Between Worlds, whatever, holocron. Maybe a Kanan holocron of Freddie Prinze after we talked all about him last week. But
you don't get to have sex here, so I'm out.
That's what he tells Ezra. Stay with the chits. Maybe they can procreate, not here with the Jedi.
Maybe they'll have you bang or something like that. Worthless.
Those space whales don't talk.
So I think I mentioned it when we talked about Freddie Prinze. I do believe him that he's done with Star Wars. I found it super weird, but I really think he's done for some reason that I can't explain.
Everything was weird with that interview. All right, I gotta clean myself up a little bit. Sorry. All right, let's move on away from the War Between Worlds. You didn't go too much into a rant. We kept it. We were able to talk about it.
Wait. Ahsoka cliffhanger that leads into a Filoni movie. Yes. Maybe. It
depends how many more shows we get in between. Is this gonna be before we get Mando season 4? I don't know what else is coming.
Like I'm hyped with everything that's coming out, but I would like them to throw some clarity. Like what's coming out? When are we gonna see Mando in the movie or in his 4th season first? Like I don't know.
Well, we might get him in Skeleton Crew. Wouldn't be surprised if he shows
up.
Oh,
that'd be cool.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Fun in vain. I got you, Mandalorian. Skeleton Crew. Again, we know nothing about that show, and it's coming later this year. It's gonna be interesting.
I mean, we knew nothing about Ahsoka until April, so
we love it. Give me a date. I need to know where it comes out. Is it August 31st? Is it before then? We don't know.
Wait, Ahsoka?
Yeah, we know it's August, but we don't know the exact date.
Really? Holy.
Yeah, see?
What's up, Disney? Like, come on. Get your shit
All
together.
right. Well, you're looking for
shit.
What?
I said get your shit together. And I said it again. And I then said
That's
shit.
True.
It's been like 4.
So how many times did you say shit while playing Jedi Survivor, Oti? Because one of our thoughts or questions out there from Patrick Richard at Saito_Patrick said, talk about Jedi Survivor, which I haven't played, but I know you finished and you have some thoughts I think you put online.
I put it online. I waited a little bit to tweet it out. I know people loved it. I liked it a lot. I liked the story. Like, I'm not down on it by any means, but I did feel disappointed.
Okay.
The game builds to this crescendo at one point. Like this. Can I talk spoilers or?
Yeah, because I'm going to ask you spoilers. What the High Republic has to do with all this? That's the only thing I care about. So spoilers.
So okay, Jedi Survivor spoilers. The game suddenly built to this massive crescendo where they suddenly think they've won. They beat this High Republic Jedi. They're celebrating, and all of a sudden, one of Bode, who's one of Cal's friends, he betrays them. He's revealed to be working for the Empire. He shoots Master Cordova, who's like one of the Jedi, and he escapes. Cal goes after him. You play a seer who's just all over the place with the Force, like she's insane. And the Empire arrives it's like this huge battle.
Yeah,
Cal's fighting this guy out in the desert who's revealed to also be a Jedi, and Seer's trying to hold everything off, and Darth Vader arrives. You fight Vader, you actually beat him, but he like sneaks one up on you and kills Seer. Which, by the way, in the same year, Vader got his ass kicked twice.
All right, but he was still reeling from that showdown with Kenobi.
Yeah, so it builds to this massive moment where you're like, "Oh my god!" And suddenly, like, it ends, and it like takes this huge like slow down. Okay, now we gotta find this guy, and I don't think that was just like such a high that the game never reached that high again. So when the game ended, I was like a little bit underwhelmed. I was like, wow, like I would have wanted like maybe like a bigger punch. And some things they want you to care about, I really didn't care because they were like randomly introduced at the end. So again, like the game wasn't bad. I just thought like it had this huge epic moment that it never got to like relive or like replicate ever again. And I think the game thought it was doing that, and I don't think it ever did.
All right. I'll play it eventually if they put it.
Don't you want to know about how the High Republic works into this?
Yeah, in a minute. Just checking comments and stuff.
Okay. Fine.
So a lot of talk out there was, the High Republic is in the video games. A lot of the promotion material was with this High Republic Jedi, still has the golden robes. I don't know who the hell he is, if he a ghost, how did he survive? Is he 200 years old or just the last 5 years of the High Republic? How does the High Republic play into Jedi Survivor?
Okay, so Cal, I'm trying to like go back on it a little bit because it's at the very beginning of the game. But Cal, he's in this planet called Kobo, and while he's exploring it, he finds this droid who's from the High Republic who had this mission that you slowly go learning about it, and he like saves her from she got trapped under some rubble or something, and through her you start to figure out that the Jedi, specifically this Jedi called Dagan, he had found this lost hidden planet, and he wanted to explore it to make a temple, train kids. He wanted to make like this utopia temple or something, and he gets like obsessed with it, like really obsessed with this place, and starts going down a dark path. And the game doesn't really tell you how it happens, but when the Jedi are there like to evaluate the place, like, could this work, the Nile arrive and destroy everything. So nice. They're like, screw this, we're leaving. And I kind of maybe think this coincided with the fall of Starlight, where they're maybe like, nah, we're all going back to Coruscant, no more exploring, this is over, we're done. So the thing is, he was so obsessed with it, he got so angry that the council abandoned it, that he starts again going down a dark path. And this Jedi friend of his, who I can't remember her name right now, Buck, throw it down in the comments, please. She's like, yo, I love you, I adore you, but you're crazy. So she puts him in cryo sleep and leaves him like stranded there. So he comes back, he wants to go back to this place. Cal wants to use and the path from Obi-Wan Kenobi is introduced here.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
So Cal and Seer want to use this planet as a hiding place for the path, and they win. They actually win. The game ends and you're there. So, nice. So I'm dying to again. I did not hate the game. I want the third game. I just thought it had some misses, but I'm dying to know what they're gonna do now, because this is like super weird and super new.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, probably when they
the planet's actually like Exegol. You have to go through this weird thing, and you need that very specific map thing to get there. So it's like it's like a light side Exegol, basically.
Okay. Oh my, just reminds me of Shadow of the Sith. All right, so cool. Little check-in with Jedi Survivor. I'll play it eventually, but I don't mind getting spoiled. I watched all the videos for the first one. So,
by the way, if someone hasn't played it, play it. It's still really really good. Oh, and the game is buggy as hell. Yes, I don't know if they patched it up this last few weeks, but when I played it, it was a bit rough. And the kind of person who does not care about graphics or performance, and I was like, yikes. So
see, I wouldn't. I'll get too angry. I'm being in games, and then halfway through they just stop working, and I'm like,
no. Oh, thank you, Buck. The Jedi I was talking about her name is Santari Kree. and she's pretty cool. But no, the game never crashed. It just sometimes looks super weird. Oh, Bug is saying it wasn't buggy for him. Awesome, dude.
Oh, Bug had a good version. All right. So another thing I know nothing about is my friend Brennan Marr. I'm surprised Brennan's not here. Hopefully he's doing well. Brennan at Brennan Mystical said, talk about Captain Pellaeon. Pellaeon? Whatever you call that guy. So the only thing I know about him, and apparently he was in Throne Treason, which I've read, but of course forgot about. I've seen him in the Shadow Council during Mando Season 3. He's loyal to Thrawn, of course. And he used to be, I don't know, in the Empire and all this stuff. But he was in Rebels, apparently, in the finale. And then loyal to Thrawn, he was then on Throne Treason. Do you know anything else about Captain Pellaeon? Do you think he's going to be prominent in the Ahsoka TV show, at least the movie?
So I hope he's prominent either in the show or in the movie, because I love the actor who's playing it. He played I'm a big 24 fan, so he played George Mason from that show, who he was the head of CTU for a while. So I love to see him, and he was also in Walking Dead. He's a pretty good actor, so I would love to see him shine in Star Wars. This is embarrassing, but I one of the things I want to do before the Ahsoka show, I want to reread the. Well, actually, I read the comic. I want to read the books of the original Thrawn trilogy. So I'm a little bit like not that knowledgeable of Pellaeon. So when I read them, I'll talk about it. I promise.
You got like a month and a half before Ahsoka. You're gonna be able to read all those books?
No.
So
well, maybe Heir to the Empire. Maybe.
All right, let's read one. All right, this is a fun one. This is from our friend Alan Chin at Alan Mychin, and he writes,
oh, I love this question.
Vision showed us how other cultures can tell a Star Wars story. What piece from your own culture would you like to see? I really want to see Filipino storytelling as done through traditional dance. Great question from Alan. We've talked here at nauseam how much we love Visions, how we love they went to different cultures, keep going to different cultures. And now he's putting this spot on us, on our culture for both of us, Puerto Rican culture, Oti. Anything about that you would love to see played out in Star Wars Visions?
So I think the obvious answer is something related to colonialism, or maybe like the whole
strap down what I got here.
No, but I want you to say, but or maybe something with the Taínos and the conquistadors. Like I think those will make for cool stories. But what got me thinking is, I think one of the most special things about Puerto Rico, Puerto Ricans are sometimes very pessimistic, but man, our spirit doesn't break. Like we've had like a bunch of straight years where things have just gone to shit. There I go again. And our spirit just doesn't break. We still party. We still, find an excuse to make a barbecue. And I think maybe something along the themes of resiliency and just never allowing your spirit to break under the worst of circumstances. I think that would make like a very modern Puerto Rican story, because I think that's like a recurring thing that people are really starting to talk about, like how, like, we got the governor to leave, we had a hurricane, we had earthquakes, but you know what, we're gonna party on January. So
might be no power, but we're gonna party anyway.
Even throughout the pandemic, like throughout the whole thing, like, are they gonna do the fiestas of San Sebastian? Like, I know people are dying, but we gotta party.
We gotta go. Just close it early. I mean, it's something that always in Puerto Rico, right? Doesn't matter where you are, you're always Puerto Rican, right? What's they saying? Puerto Riqueño hasta en la luna, right? So something like that, someone losing their ways from the Jedi or whatever, thinking that everything, we're gonna lose, the Empire is too big, and then just a whole culture coming in, we've done this before. And it doesn't matter if you're here, you're in another planet, we're all the same. So that can work. Alan talking about traditional dances. Also, let's do something with food. Puerto Ricans also have their food in everything. So something has to do with food will be real cool. Visually, give me the Vejigantes. Those big masks and all that.
Yes, like maybe a Sith demon or something. Like that'd be super cool.
Yeah, I was gonna get a picture. Let me see if I can find one real quick. But some
Vejigantes are like super weird. I actually have a painting of my dad somewhere in my kitchen that he made of Vejigantes, and my mom is always scared of that painting, so I took it with me.
Let me see if I can. It's not gonna show up too big, but that's fine. I can still show it.
Okay.
Where are we? Share screen. Yeah, I know.
I don't even remember what they meant. Like, I'm pretty sure my school teachers taught me about it, but I really can't remember right now.
Yeah, I don't have that right now. There we go. Can you see that?
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
It's super weird.
It's so weird, but it's.
That's like I can maybe understand maybe some other people from other cultures being like, "What the hell is that?" And I feel the same way, but I love them. Like
I loved it. I used to be in my art class in high school. We had to do something for the culture and whatever, and we drew Vejigantes. So that was my go-to. So give me something with that imagery would work great with Puerto Rican culture. And of course, I have colonialism and the mixture of cultures in Puerto Rico. It's another thing that we always taught when we're younger. We're a mix of three cultures: the white Spaniard, the Taino Indians, and black slave. So use all that mixture into what us as Puerto Rican, because you and me look different, and even my brother looks different. And yeah, I might be Hispanic, but I'm a white Hispanic and they're dark. So there's a lot of not just one type of Puerto Rican, there's a whole mixture. So I think I can bring all that into it.
Puerto Rico is probably the only country on earth where two white people can have a black kid and there's no cheating involved.
No, dude, you look at I'm three. Me and the eldest brother were basically twins almost, even though he's 8 years older. The middle one, it's like 2 shades darker. And my dad was kind of like, it's like, yeah, we all look different. My kids have blue eyes. How? I have no idea. Because I don't have blue eyes. My wife doesn't. I think her grandma maybe.
Sometimes you'll have like two parents who are like very short and they have like a 6'4" kid.
Yeah, you know.
Okay, sure.
There's a lot they can. There was a great question by Alan, something that as much as we talk about visions, never crossed my mind.
Yeah, I've kind of thought about it, like what would a visions Puerto Rico, but like seeing the question, what he answered got me like, oh, yeah, that's exactly interesting.
All right, Oti, under an hour. We are done with our episode for today. Giving you 3 minutes to get some water, get back, hydrate.
I'm gonna say the S word for 3 minutes. Hang on.
I wouldn't put it past you. All right. So as we said at the beginning of the show, we'll be out next week, or be off, I should say, next week for my son's birthday. Then the following week for your sister's wedding. I think Mo even put in the chat that she has something to do. That
she has a baby shower.
Baby shower thing. Then Buck is going to be off on the 24th, meeting someone.
He said he was going to meet Dennis Lawson. Buck, you should come on the show and ask him about Marky and Rowe.
Just take your computer, your phone, and I'll send you the link. Dennis
Lawson's gonna be like, who?
What the hell is this? Row? All right. So again, we'll be off for the next 2 weeks, so you can get caught up on our previous episodes, especially those great interviews that we have with Lydia Kang and with Tom Holler. Check those out, and we'll see you.
We gotta have other people here because that was just way too fun.
It was, and as when we end this show, I'm gonna ask you a question that has to do with Inquisitor, Rise of the Red Blade, and what we're talking about. Oti, where can people find you out there?
Why would he know it? He wouldn't know anything about. I know.
That's the point.
That's the point, Buck. Damn it. Shit. You can find me over Twitter and Instagram at whatever it says down there, and yeah, just keep up with my shenanigans.
All right, one of these days he won't be here, but for now we'll keep him. Thank you, Oti, for being here. Thank you, Buck, for everything. Mo, Roberto, and everyone watching later on the recap. Always thanks for being here. Let us know in your comments what you're doing your own culture. Star Wars Visions came to you. Hey, give us your culture. How could you get that into Star Wars? Let us know. We'll be back in 2 or 3 weeks. I'll let you guys know when, but thanks for being here. We'll see you next time. Whatever that is, stay safe, be safe, and may the Force be with you.